just to start off this video, I'm just going to say that I have been taking this medication that has been making me extremely sick. So I do want to apologize if I seem a little bit off key today. I really wanted to get this review done, and it was really important to me to have it done this week so that you guys could see John and I's video, but during filming this, I started to feel extremely sick, and I do apologize if I start to sound a little bit robotic because I just wanted to get through it. I do apologize, but my next video will be exciting, so thanks so much for watching again, and I hope you enjoy. Hey everybody, thanks so much for stopping by and watching today's video. Today I will be doing a spoiler-free review on The Way of Kings. I also got together with John from the Reading Funk here on YouTube for a buddy read, and we discussed the book together on his channel, and it is full of spoilers. I'll have that linked down below. He has really awesome videos on his channel and posts way more often than me, so be sure to go subscribe to him and check out our video. I'll preface this to say that epic fantasy and me have had some issues in the past, and I have struggled quite a bit to get into the genre due to me being a plot-focused reader. I think it is incredible that people can create a vision of completely different worlds, society, magic, systems, and so on, but I find that on occasion, some writers put in a lot of pages explaining each thing, which I find for myself can really drag on. I have given up on reading every fantasy I have ever picked up. The genre intimidates me so much, and when I approached some of my friends and asked them, what is a book that you would suggest to someone that doesn't like epic fantasy on the hopes of changing their mind? Every single one of them said the Mistborn trilogy, which is currently on my shelf, waiting to be read. When I reached out to John to do a buddy read, we decided, because we both struggled with our dabbling in fantasy previously, that it would be fun to read together the current #1 fantasy and see if our thoughts had changed towards the genre at all. And boy did they! This book is so far from what I thought it would be. This series is multi-perspective with a main focus on a certain character in each book, from what I'm aware. The Way of Kings has 3 main perspectives, with a few others sprinkled in, but the story is mainly centered around the character Kaladin, but we have chapters from a character named Dalinar as well as Shallan. After the 8 out of 10 heralds give up on humanity, they give up their swords and armor and abandon mankind in the middle of a war, in hopes that the thing or person they are fighting against will stop if they leave. One is dead and one is left behind, and they never address who that is and who that might be. Then the story goes through each of the perspectives. There is a class system, which is by eye color. Light eyes are most powerful and upper class. Dark eyes are looked down upon. Then there's slaves and the Parshmen and Parshendi, which are the same species but different levels, I'm assuming. Galavar, the king of Alethkar, is assassinated, and the Parshendi take credit for it. And then a revenge war happens, which causes his son, the new king, to declare the War of Reckoning, which all the high princes in the kingdom unite against the Parshendi to do. The story part from flashbacks occurs 6 years into this war. There is also these super heavy storms, which they call high storms, which sound a lot like hurricanes, but like times 10, which also produce Stormlight, which infuses their currency, and a lot of other things. We follow Kaladin and his journey from being a renowned soldier to him being a slave, and through the book we are given flashbacks into his past as a child, when he gets recruited, and why he became a slave. Kaladin's nickname is Stormblessed, which he hates because he has this weird hero complex and feels like he doesn't live up to the name. He also has issues against Light Eyes due to his past, and in his slavery, he is sold to one of the high princes and assigned to bridge duty, which is the worst assignment due to it being extremely dangerous. Bridgemen carry bridges to the battles and are usually the first to get shot down by the Parshendi, so it is pretty much a guaranteed death if you are a bridgeman. Kaladin tries to change this and protect his fellow bridgemen, and has a tough time due to the others not seeing the point of bothering because they're used to just dying. They don't want to know each other's names or anything about each other's lives because why bother? Caladan can also see a spren named Syl, who is initially a wind spren, but is becoming more sentient while she spends more time with Caladan. Then we have Dalinar, who is a high prince and the brother to the king that was assassinated. Elhokar is the new king, who I mentioned was Gavilar's son. Dalinar is super honorable and used to be regarded super highly. He struggles with the last message that Gavilar left behind, which relates to the Way of Kings, which is some kind of biblical, historical handbook for kings. Dalinar starts to research the books, having it be read to him, which is quite interesting that there's feminine and masculine types of separation. So anything to do with war, men do, and like art and writing is for women. So yeah, anyway, so he starts having the book read to him, and his reputation takes a turn for the worst as he tries to find out what the message meant. And at the same time, during those high storms, he has visions of what he believes is the Almighty talking to him and showing him visions of the past for a reason, but doesn't know what. Meanwhile, he tries to convince Elhokar to go back to Alethkar, as they have been away for far too long, and thinks they should protect Alethkar moreover than seek revenge, since it had already been 6 years. This also causes problems in the war camps because everyone pretty much gossips about his visions and him wanting to abandon war, and he seems a little crazy. And then finally, the third perspective is Shallan. She is from a small city who travels for months trying to catch up with Jasnah, who is a great scholar and the daughter of Gavilar. Shallan wants Jasnah to accept her to be an apprentice and learn everything about what Jasnah knows due to a plan she made with her brothers to keep their name in high status after their father's death. Shallan uses her art to convince Jasnah to take her on, and they together try to research why the Parshendi would have assassinated Gavilar. Let's get into what I liked and what I didn't, starting with what I didn't. I did not prefer Caladan's hero complex. It seems over the top. There are several quotes where he is being told to chill on the self-destruction he seems to go on about a lot. Like, for example, he'd never been an optimist. He saw the world as it was, or he tried to. That was the problem, though, when the truth he saw was so terrible. Or, overcome your guilt. Care, but not too much. Take responsibility, but don't blame yourself. Protect, save, help. But know when to give up. They're precarious ledges to walk. How do I do it? And finally, I will protect those who cannot protect themselves. He carries around the guilt of so many deaths from his past that are clearly not his fault, and it seems a bit silly for most of them, if not all of them, that he feels guilty for. He refers to the people around him as his men in every instance where he is in a leader position. That being said, I do like that Sanderson inserts mental health and covers the subject of depression really well. I also disliked the elements of cruelty towards lesser people, especially toward Caladan, which definitely added to his weird hero complex. He encounters over-the-top cruelty from childhood when he is sold to the camp as a bridgeman. It was also a bit silly to me, but I can see how it was used as a device to show why Caladan was so jaded by the Light Eyes and why he is so determined to protect people from the cruelty of his own experiences, maybe. I wasn't the biggest fan of how Jasnah was introduced as being cold-hearted and a terse woman, but then near the end, she is a bit of a pushover and is definitely not the same personality-wise near the end. I do wonder if that is done due to Shallan's perspective and how her first impression versus when she and Jasnah have a relationship and how those differ. Other than that, the book was incredible. I loved how Sanderson introduces his world building through the characters and the plot. For example, he explains what Alethkar looks like through Dalinar having his visions. He explains the city of Kharbranth through Shallan and Jasnah walking through it. I love that he didn't waste time explaining every single detail, but I imagine the world he built anyway as he inserted his building into what was happening in the story. This is something I also enjoyed in regards to explaining the history. Sanderson inserts the history of the world of Roshar in Kaladin's flashbacks, Dalinar's visions, and the research that Jasnah and Shallan are doing. It made it far easier to read, and it definitely did not feel daunting being over 1,000 pages long, which surprised me. I really enjoyed elements he created, such as Spren, which are creatures of nature. They have different shapes and forms that appear during events, ideas, abnormalities. For example, there are creation Spren, so when Shallan is drawing, or rotten Spren when there is an injured soldier healing. Another creature is the chasm fiends, which are these massive crab thing monsters that have hearts made of gemstone. The shard blades and plates, which are superior swords and armor that are so much more powerful than regular weapons. Not to be confused with the weapons that the heralds were using, by the way. I loved some of the side characters, and I'm so excited to see where they go. There's a character named Seth, who is of the Shen race. He is under an oath stone for something he did in the past, and whoever holds that stone controls him. He is unable to kill himself and also has a shard blade that he isn't allowed to give away either. He's a really cool character who Sanderson packs so much info into Seth's chapters that for having very little time in the book, he's a character of depth, and I am really excited to see where the character goes. He was definitely one of my favorites. I love how everything is interconnected in more ways than I could possibly even realize. I noticed that Sanderson made sure he clarified what he introduced in the following chapters, like when Dalinar has his visions, Jasnah and Shallan somehow also cover some element that was in his vision through a text that they are researching at the time. I also really liked some of the quotes. They relate to the plot, but also to real life as well, when Jasnah and Shallan are discussing philosophy especially. Jasnah says something that was so relatable for me, so here it is. Must someone, some unseen thing, declare what is right for it to be right? I believe that my own morality, which answers only to my heart, is more sure and true than the morality of those who do right, only because they fear retribution. And then, your feelings, Shallan, however powerful, are your own, not mine. And what I feel is that spending my life trying to earn the favor of an unseen, unknown, and unknowable being who watches me from the sky is an exercise in sheer futility. And then finally, am I a monster? Am I a hero? Did I just slaughter 4 men, or did I stop 4 murderers from walking the streets? Does one deserve to have evil done to her by consequences of putting herself where evil can reach her? Did I have the right to defend myself, or was I just looking for an excuse to end lives? The technology versus the sword and shield type of timeline is also really cool. They have special parchment that can connect people. As long as they both have the parchment open, they can discuss through writing. It's like some sort of instant chat system, which I thought was fascinating. Also, the way their currency is powered by the Stormlight and provides light to the room if they're in special jars, as well as their capability to be used for casting the Stormlight for actual uses. Overall, this book was an incredible first fantasy. Sanderson said the series will be 10 books long, and I'm really excited to read more. A lot of his books so far are in the same universe, so reading Mistborn will also be pretty exciting for me as well. I am really happy I read the book and that I was able to buddy read with John. It was a really fun experience. 10 out of 10 for the book and 10 out of 10 for the experience. If you haven't read fantasy before and were looking for a book to dip your toes into the genre, I highly, highly recommend this one. Starting with this book is the way to go, I swear. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm so glad you came to spend time with me for this review. Be sure you go to John's channel and subscribe to him if you want to see more videos like these. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.